In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sonships of millions and trillions of years, he who made time the seed of the universe. Known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansel, Yahweh, Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah, Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribe as Olodumare, Obatala, and many other Orisha gods. I bear witness that all of those names refer to the same one, Almighty God. And it's to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, those children of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are that lost 13 tribe, born here in North America, and that we are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you all in the ancient, but yet holy words of peace, in the many languages of our fathers, of Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, Baragani, Alafia, and Ashe. All greeting words and salutations of peace in the many different languages of our fathers. I greet you and welcome you in peace. I am Brother Minister Raheem Kased Aten, founder of this great movement, the Toma Nation, along with the co-founder, Brother Minister Omari Jahi Aten, and the First Lady of this movement, Sister Makita Aisha Aten. And we are live from Toma Nation at 616 East 71st Street. Right now, just drop what you're doing and come on out, because we're going from 12:30 to 1:30, but you're only gonna get 30 minutes here. The Temple of Mercy Association is an all-inclusive, black conscious, but yet righteous movement dedicated to the upliftment of black people in the inner cities of America, or the urban cities of America first, and then the world. And as you all know, we have what we call our prescribed readings. Every month we have a specific book, a specific issue that we dwell into, or dwell into. And this month, and it's easier to go back and find videos or tapes, because if you know what month that it is that we're doing that particular prescribed reading, you would know what you're going to be listening to. If it's for economics, you'll know that. Go back to any tape in June or July or August, and you're going to get economics. If you want to get something spiritual and whatnot, then you want to deal with February and March and April. But today, quickly, I want to talk to you about a situation that's going on in the world today. But my title for it is called The Harlot and the Beast. And Toma does not support any political affiliation, Democrat, Republican, whatever. We are not a part of that. We don't tell our members not to vote, but we will teach the truth of the essence of what you really get out of voting, but you choose for yourself if you want to vote or not in Toma. What we're looking at with Kamala, or Kamala, or they done called her everything but whatever she is, Harris, and Trump, And I consider and call Donald Trump the beast of revelation. And I call Kamala the harlot. Both of them are found in Revelation, specifically Revelation 13. And I want to share with you two things. One, you hear Trump saying, "Make America great again." He ran on that when he first ran, back when. And the moment he put that word out, black people really too much didn't look into what he meant by "Make America Great Again." And I wanted to share with us what made America great. And at the same time, show you how words are powerful. And the things that you say, especially if you are over a people or if you are president of a world power, your thoughts, your words, and a lot of your actions affect the whole energy of how the United States and its members or its citizens will be operating and acting. You hear of so many things happening in the world. And since I don't have that long, I'm going to try to do this pretty quick. During the time when America was great, black people were being lynched. And we had what you call overseers or officers, that you had free slaves and you had slaves that weren't free. The ones that weren't free, they had overseers on horses watching them every day that they might not escape. And if they got away, they would come after them. And undergirding that particular tone, overseer, is the word officer. And they had officers or sheriffs or sheriffs patrolling our neighborhoods of those who were free and making sure that they would not cross a certain line and be over in a white neighborhood or in a white bathroom or drinking out of a white faucet, or you in the wrong part of town, like here in Chicago, that was up going north of where we were at on the south side, we had Bridgeport. And going west on the south side, we had Marquette Park, and we had, I believe it was, I forgot what it was called. It's another school over there on 78 in Western. But those areas on Western, when you crossed Western, you got ran back to this side of town. When you wound up in Bridgeport, you got whooped. When you went over to Marquette Park, where Martin Luther King went, and when they hit him with a brick, "Niggas go home," they kept saying. "Niggas go home." So America was great at that time because it was thriving. Wall Street was thriving. The stock market was thriving. And if you look at that, they had two main commodities that was actually part of the commerce. One was us, black slaves. And right next to that was cotton and tobacco. Now, all the rest of them, the commodities, were not making as much money as those three that I named. And at that time, being slaves, we were not even considered human. We were part of what they call livestock. And I'm saying from 1619 to 2019, I forgot what year it was when Trump got in office, ever since he said, "Make America great again," all that made America great is resurfacing. They're lynching our people, and they never had stopped. Right now, Javion McGee, Vance County, in North Carolina. Truck driver from Chicago, found hanging from a tree right by his truck. Another person, 18 years old, found hanging from a tree across the street from a black elementary school in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Another one found hanging from a bridge, 16 years old. The other one was 18. Hanging from a bridge, his name was Dominique Stewart, hanging from the Jefferson Davis Memorial Bridge in Jefferson, Mississippi. Now that's just all we know about right now. But from that time to now, our brothers and sisters have been being hung, lynched, beat up, killed. And I know for sure that sundown towns did not just start back up again. It has been going on for quite some time. It just hasn't been recognized. So you talk about making America great again, they had sundown towns back then. And black free people, whether you were congressmen or politicians or entertainers or sports people or whatnot, if you were black, you had to carry with you a book called the Black Book that led you away from sundown towns so that you can make it from where you're going to getting to where you're going without being hung or your bus being burnt or you being drugged out and drugged through the street or drugged on the back of a truck. It's called the Green Book. Y'all look into it now, look it up. All right? And so back then, it's almost like now. Brothers and sisters, I am not talking just because, it looks as though I'm saying something that I read. Let me give you an actual situation about 7 years ago. And it never made it to the news. I did a funeral, played at a funeral for a young man, I think he was about 35, maybe 40. He had a closed coffin. And everybody kept talking good about him and all, and they didn't say what happened, how he died. I thought maybe he was hit by a car or something, that's why the thing was closed. When it was over, I asked his brother, well, what happened? They said he was missing for a week. He was a truck driver. And when they found him, he was in this town, somewhere in Alabama, and he was sitting in his truck at the driver's, side. Said that when they found him, he was naked, didn't have on any clothes, but his body was covered in mud. His eyes were punched out and filled with mud. His mouth was filled with mud. His ears were filled with mud, and he was just sitting behind the steering wheel in a sundown town. All right? So me reading about this right here is one thing, but it's also another thing about knowing that it's true. Because I happen to play at a funeral of a brother who was caught in a sundown town. What is a sundown town for those who don't know? Well, you could drive all day through any town, but when the sun go down, a black man in certain towns that he might drive through may not make it out on the other side. You stop to get gas, you may not get back in your car. If you got a flat and you go into a service station or go into an auto shop, you may not get out. We had a brother in this movement who travels throughout the United States, wound up in a sundown town, had a flat. And he went to an auto body shop, and they had those flags in their shop. And some kind of way, he got away because from what he says, he was talking to the guys, and they was talking about how you should have your own and be among your own and marry among your own and this and that. And he was telling them, that's what my organization believed in. And then the guy was shaking his hand saying, we never met a Negro like you, but you all right with me? Because he was not lying, though. This is what we push and what we believe. And by the skin of his teeth, him and his friend that was with him, he made it out of the sundown town to be wherever he had to go. Yes, brothers and sisters, what was happening in 1619 is happening in 2025. The sundown towns are back. The hanging, lynching is back. The setting our people on fire is back. Saying and lying that they committed suicide and they hung themselves, like they said this 18-year-old did off this bridge, that he hung himself. They said the guy who they hung in front of an all-black elementary school hung himself. They keep calling it suicide. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you that if we vote for Trump, it's going to escalate. If Trump don't win, it's going to escalate. Because God ordained Trump, brothers and sisters, to bring America down. He has a job to do. And if the other one get in, she's just going to prolong the inevitable. If you look at it, brothers and sisters, towns being underwater, you just experienced that in different places during this hurricane with, they called it Helene, right? North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Atlanta, and Florida. Every town that got destroyed, brothers and sisters, was a potential sundown town. Did you know that? Yeah. And did you know that the ones who lynched Javion McGee, the town that he was lynched in, is not on the map anymore? Brothers and sisters, we already know what we call a hurricane in Tone. We say that's hurrying Cain out the way. Well, we know that Cain killed Abel, his brother. And we also know that Cain represents the white man. Abel represents the black man. And he was a messenger. I'll go into that later. I ain't got that much time. But not only is God hurrying Cain out the way, he's also helping you to realize that Marcus Mosiah Garvey, when they killed him, sent him home, and he died of a broken heart, he said, "Look for me in the whirlwind." So we do have a God that is championing our cause. So we have another hurricane coming. Right now in the waters, there are 10 active hurricanes in the water right now, along our coast from California all the way across to Florida. 10. The one that's going to hit by Wednesday in Florida is called, is it Milton? Yeah, Hurricane Milton. Landfall by Wednesday, possible category 3. Supposed to affect Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. What is so about those places? See, even back then, when America considered themselves great, we were slaves. And they had what you call the 13 colonies who had set up their base here in America along that same coastline. North Carolina, South Carolina, all up in there. And those places, I'll give it to you: Massachusetts, Maryland, Virginia, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Delaware, and New Hampshire. The 13 colonies set up by white people coming from Britain, and they decided that they wanted to get away from Britain, and they had a Revolutionary War. Black people was part of that war. Then after it was over and they won and freed themselves from Britain, then they had the Civil War, the war between the North and the South. Black people were a part of that. See, again, making America great. I'm just showing you. See, anytime America was great, It was great for the Caucasians who lived here. And now that America has kicked black people to the curb and we are no longer wanted, Pharaoh has let us go, but we won't let Pharaoh go. So we have a challenge here now because you got the immigrants here and you already had the Mexicans or the Hispanics taking over our neighborhoods. And so now you got the worst of the worst coming from Venezuela and other places coming here, as Trump said, which I like about him because he won't lie, he'll tell the truth, that they came from their jails and their gangs that were over there are the ones that are over here right now. And they pulling it together to start that little cartel and going to go against the blacks in the neighborhoods that white America sent them to. Brothers and sisters, I was in Wicker Park and Lincoln Park. I did not see no immigrants at all. In Hyde Park and on the south side of Chicago all the way back to Roseland, I saw immigrants. All right? So now we are fourth class, brothers and sisters. First is the white man, now it's the Hispanics, third class, brothers and sisters, out of immigrants. Fourth class is us. Arabs are now selling their businesses over to the Hispanics. The Hispanics and the migrants are fighting each other for positions, ain't thinking about us. Until they learn that if we come together and fight the blacks, then we can get back to fighting us. See, that's the process that white America teaches and has been teaching that for eons when America was great. Let's make America great again, they say. And you think Kamala is going to be for black people. You are 150% wrong. They will not let an African descendant of slaves be president of the United States of America, nor vice president, nor secretary, nor treasurer. Now look at Obama. You thought he was one of us, didn't you? Now look at this woman. You think she's one of us, don't you? She is not a descendant of slaves. So America still keep the black man and woman that's descendants of slaves here in America, keep us under their thumb. As the immigrants and all came in, we were supposed to keep our number 2 position. But it constantly pushes us down, further down, not up, down. What do you think you got coming here in America if America keeps showing you in front of your doggone face who they believe you to be? And that's nobody. And every time somebody rich that is black decide to sue one of the people who they basically work for, he showed them who the boss is. I don't care who it is. Black man, the only way you're going to be in the position you want to really be in is you're going to have to remove the people out of that position that they're in. They're not going to just move out the way. When Joshua saw Jericho, he sent some people in. They had a 5-day notice. The people looked at him like they were crazy. Ran them on up out of there because you'll have a land promise, but you're going to have to fight to get it. And if you don't fight, you're not getting nothing. We keep begging, we keep marching, we keep wanting to join with them. They don't want you with them. They tolerate you, but you still want them. You want them to be with you. They got new NIGGASs. And it ain't you anymore. See, you just don't get it. You just want to think I'm racist. But we're not racist. We're people who believe in the truth, and when we see something, we expose it. Now you got the police officers, they're going to let some of the immigrants be police officers. In our communities, you got Hispanic police officers, you got Korean police officers, Chinese police officers. Now you're going to have immigrant police officers. But now, when you go into the other neighborhoods, they got police officers that look like them. I ain't lying. You can even go into the gay neighborhood around Halsted and the police officers are gay. For them. Why don't we have black officers among us? Because we keep begging and don't nothing good come to a damn beggar. And that's all we do is beg. And all we do when we go out here and talk that talk and whatever, all it is another level of begging. You got high class begging, and then you got the beggar on the corner with his hat in his hand. But these high class beggars pose as freedom fighters, pose as people who are truly for the black community when they for their own black ASS. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I just have to tell it like it is. And if we don't wake up, we're going to be demolished. We're going to be extinct. Talking all that talk. See, somebody will say, well, T.I. got a whole apartment complex. So did Muhammad Ali. When he died, the whole complex died with him. How's that? He even had a restaurant called Ali's Charlie. Where is it? Remember that? So what's this with black America? When we get anything, it only lasts as long as we're around. And when we gone, it's gone. How come we can't sustain black business? See, you got to look at it. Now, I'm going to close out because it's time for me to close on this note. But be back Wednesday, I'll go live and I'm going to go into this some more. But I want to tell you, if the black man and woman don't do for self, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, who was born October 7th or 8th, 1897 of this month, and this is why we'll be in his two books, The Fall of America and Message to the Black Man. We'll be reading from these books and studying it, and if we don't take what he's given us and what the Honorable Marcus Messiah has given us, we are doomed. There will be a chosen few who will survive. But the rest of us as a people here in America, you just might as well mark yourself with a tag on your foot and get ready for your refrigerator. God bless you. God keep you. And I leave you as I greeted you in peace, hotep, shalom, assalamu alaikum, abargani, and lafia, black power, and peace.
Sunday worship service. We invite you and your family to join us live every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street at our new time from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. and on Facebook from 12:30 to 1 p.m. If you have enjoyed what you have heard, please feel free to support us with a monetary gift on Cash App at $TOMANATION. Once again, that's $TOMANATION. This will conclude our live stream. The message you have been listening to will continue live here at the Toma headquarters. We thank you, Black family. See you next Sunday. Black Power.
This is the return of the divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Power.